It's fine.
Yeah, everything's great. Hold
Everything's great.
up. It is Sunday at 12:30 here, which means it's 7:30 for you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Yaoi Shelf.
Welcome to the last live of the year. I
Yeah,
think.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, unless time magics up more of itself.
No, I feel like, 2021 had its shot. Can we
Yeah,
just yeah.
yeah. I think that's a really gracious way to put it. It definitely had its opportunity to not be trash. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone.
Hello. Thanks for
Uh,
joining.
Thank you so much for joining us. As you can tell by the candor of your host, we're exhausted.
No, no. I what? I don't I don't know what you're talking about. Like we weren't up recording until 3 a.m.
No.
last night. What?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we weren't up late, and I am supposed to go to a meeting right after this, but I don't think I am because I have a convention in a few days that I still need to pack for.
I am sending thoughts and prayers and
Thank you.
you
I
know,
appreciate it. Thoughts and
yeah.
prayers. Thoughts and prayers. I do not think I will be able to drag Overhaul out of the closet for this one.
Oh no. I guess he'll just
Yes.
have to stay closeted for a little while longer.
I guess I'll just have to stay in that closet. He'll have to just stay there for a little while
Oh
longer.
no. What a sad fate.
To be
Oh no.
closeted?
Yeah. To
Yeah, it
be
is cool.
forced to stay in the closet like
Okay,
that.
I'm not holding him hostage in the
During
closet.
Christmas. No.
I'm not I'm not keeping him there. The door is open. He can leave. He doesn't want to. The door is
I
ajar.
okay, fine. Okay, as long as he gets some fresh air in there, it's fine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, he has access to food and water, fresh air. He's fine. Um, but yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days. We
Yeah.
released our episode last week, and we're promptly recording because I have a million and five things to do, and then Christmas happens, and we're both very busy because we've decided that we don't hate our families.
Yeah, like I actually appreciate my family, so,
I
I'll
love my family very much from approximately 300 miles away. We are we are at our mutual bests when there is approximately 300 miles between us.
I think that a lot of people can recognize that.
And
For some
like
families, that's what works for them,
and it's so amazing cuz like our relationship has never been better, me and my aunts, because I live 300 miles away. Oh, your book
Yeah,
fell on you.
please, sir, just put it
Gentlemen,
away.
please. Not
Jeez.
this early in the show. Yeah, like we love each other very much and 300 miles away. Also because there is now a physical boundary between us, and I've learned the magical power of saying no and fuck you.
Important words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was one year that they tried to disrespect me, and I sat in the living room, changed my bus ticket back home, and I left.
Good for you, those boundaries.
Yeah,
Like, get
and
those boundaries in there.
they got really mad that one time, and then they realized, oh, if we're jerks, Amanda doesn't visit.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking correlation, I know. Science is still on the
That's
fence.
really weird. It's like,
Yeah. The numbers are still coming in. But yeah, apparently, if we disrespect someone, they don't want to spend time with.
I don't understand this. I what? What?
I know, shocking new phenomena. So, it only took a few years, but now, like, yeah, our relationship is better than ever because they know I will just up and fucking leave.
Good.
Or
Yeah.
I've also reached the portion of trauma where I'm just mouthy.
Yeah.
Uh, like, so we were taking a family photo one Christmas, and I had, I, I don't. think I was drunk, but I had been drinking. And one of my uncles apparently wasn't happy with how much I smiled. And he said, Amanda, smile. And I looked at him and said, You ain't my daddy, which is true.
I
You're
just
not.
find, yeah, I mean, good point. I'm just, I'm just flabbergasted by the whole idea of actually doing like a family Christmas photo. We tried doing that one time because my sister, like my kid sister, who's, not that much of a kid anymore, but she always
Yeah.
liked to do those things. Like she always wanted to mimic what she saw on TV and things. But we're a family of people who hates cameras, and so yeah, it didn't turn out very well.
You know what? I was thinking about doing it again this year for my family for Christmas, or like I bought us like a package to go get our portraits taken. I also have not had like professional pictures taken in a while. Um, so I'm not excited about it, but I have considered it. Yeah, we used to take like really, really elaborate Christmas photos. There's a bunch of pictures of me as a child in like varying costumes.
Huh. They used to take us, but I mean, my grandma used to work
Hmm.
for a photographer, so we used to go there as kids to get our Christmas photos taken. But our parents were never in them,
I love
never.
that. My family is so loud and I'm so quiet I could just sneak out the back. Mood.
No, I'm the
There
loud one.
there was one Thanksgiving that a friend and I got drafted into the seasonal go to the store 15 times because everything is run out and you have to go back to the store for a thing, but you can't go all at once. You end up going like 5 times.
Yeah,
And
I w-
my yes.
no, I want to say stores are closed here on Christmas. They're not, but they close like super early on Christmas
Yeah.
Eve. 'Cause but then again, stores are closed in Norway on Sundays. So
How
yeah,
do you guys get things done?
that's why we have everything closed on Sundays, because that's the day we do everything. Because you can't go shopping.
That's
Like
amazing.
everyone does their weekend shopping on Saturday, and then
Yeah.
everyone just goes hiking on Sunday.
What?
I don't. I hate hiking personally, but
You know what? That does remind me of Austria because Austria was very, very similar. That like everything closed at like 5 o'clock,
wow.
and then Sunday, yeah, nothing was open except for like some of the train stations and stuff like that.
But it's like so weird because we go to Sweden, and in Sweden everything is open on Sundays, and it's
Well,
the
yeah, because
like
they're a lawless land.
yeah, and we're like we're so similar, and you go there, it's like a culture shock. It's like you guys have
Oh, how's
stores.
how's the goat doing? No
I
one's
think
burned it
it's
down
wait,
yet.
let me check because I haven't
Has so
checked today.
has someone burned it down yet?
I don't think so.
That should be
Let's
our
see.
Yule log, is us watching the goat burn.
uh, let's check Twitter. Are you still standing?
For those
For
of you
those,
that don't
yeah.
know, this has become an elaborate thing between Corolla and I. Every year in Sweden since like the 70s, they've decided to erect a wicker goat for Christmas. And every year, nearly, someone has burned it down because don't erect a wicker goat.
It was still standing 5 hours
Fuck.
ago.
You,
Amanda has made it her purpose to come visit me in Norway and then
we're
take,
gonna jump the
yeah,
border.
we're gonna jump the border to go to this remote town in, I don't even know where it is, to go burn down the goat.
Well, no, I don't want to burn down the goat because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to
No, I
Swedish jail.
I really don't even want to go there because I think it's like really far. I think
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
I don't think it's near any of the sites. I don't think it's anything we want to do.
No, I don't, yeah. I don't want to do that.
Also, breaking news, but Anne Rice died.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
I feel like, again, the way that the timing that we have on these lives are kind of, tends to be kind of wild, like how we've done these episodes. And then now, while we're on the path of our way of Fujin, and then she
yeah,
dies, and there was that whole
yeah,
fanfic controversy.
yeah. Jeffree Star, you do not care about Anne Rice. Sorry, I was tweeting this for another thing that I'm at because, of course, I'm multitasking. And
What?
Jeffree Star tweeted, "Oh my god, devastated by this news. Jeffrey, you don't even know who fucking Anne Rice is. Shut up."
I mean, I've never read anything by Anne Rice personally. I
I was one of the people that got their fan fiction taken
Yeah,
down
I
because
remember.
Anne Rice said that her gay vampires aren't gay.
If those were my gay vampires, I would love it personally. But yeah, I actually only watched Interview with a Vampire for the first time this year. Because no one told me they were gay vampires. Like I just thought
Yeah.
it was like I just remember being a kid and like seeing the trailers and being like,
Mm.
I don't think either of these men are attractive and they're just walking around with their shirts open. I don't care. And then my girlfriend really loves it and she made me watch it this year and I was like screaming at her, "Why did you tell me there were gay vampires? I would have watched it 10 years ago. What the hell is this?" Amazing.
So in the books, they're gayer. The movie, okay. So we have to address the question of why a goat. They're a pagan symbol for Yule. And
Yeah.
Sweden has decided that they're still pagan, which is why they erect a giant wicker goat.
But the thing
What?
is, we
Yes.
also have them. I have one. I can't show it because I can't turn my camera around. I have a wicker goat in my window. Two, actually. There's a tiny one.
I have a shocking lack of wicker goats.
I am fixing this. I promise you, we'll fix this. But yeah, it's a Yule symbol, and like in Norway and in Sweden, we call it Jul. So
Mm.
we celebrate this strange mishmash holiday thing that isn't really the Christian religion thing and it isn't
Yes.
really the pagan thing. It's just this thing. And I've said this before, I mentioned this before, but the number one important Christmas tradition in Norway
Hmm.
is to watch this weird Czechoslovakian Cinderella film that is dubbed in Norwegian with the same guy doing all the voices, and it airs every single year at 10 a.m. and everyone watches it. And this is the biggest tradition we have. This is Norwegian Christmas. We have wicker goats and Czechoslovakian Cinderella, and I cry every single year.
Uh, you also in I think Finland have the Yule cat.
Oh yeah, that thing is terrifying.
That's Iceland. Sorry, I know
Oh
Iceland
yeah.
and Finland. That's Iceland has the terrifying Yule cat.
Yeah,
Uh,
Finland has the Santa Claus World Championship,
oh
which
yeah,
is wild.
and then I think the Netherlands has the racist one.
Yeah, Sinterklaas and Svarte Per.
Yeah,
I said Svarte Per, that's Norwegian. I don't know what it's called in Black Pete.
yeah. So basically, Black Pete is like Santa's helper, but it's always blackface.
I think I don't know because I think they may have uh explained it to us weird when we were kids because I think the way we got it explained was because they come down the chimney
Yeah.
and
So
so
the way
his
that it used to be done, you got a compliment on your hair.
Thank you. I'm getting
The
a cut on
way
Tuesday.
Oh god. The way it was explained is that yeah, like Black Pete is black because I think it also translates like to sooty or ashy or whatever because of the chimney. But the Dutch have now taken that to just painting your face black
Yeah,
and
yeah.
exaggerated lips and stuff, which is called a sambo, which is racist.
Yeah. I think that because
Yeah,
that's everyone gets a wicker goat. Maybe we should
you get a
like do a
wicker goat.
giveaway. I'll send someone a wicker goat.
I'm changing a video now. We're gonna do wicker goats now. Oh my god, I would
Yeah.
love to make a wicker goat thing. Yay. Anyways, but yeah, like it used to like when they did it at first, yeah, like it made sense. Like it was just like a dude with like some dust on his face and like it's
But
fine, but like
yeah.
for some reason now it's blackface and it's racist.
Yeah, and I'm like because obviously I don't really know this tradition because it's not my culture. Uh but that was the way we had it explained to us. I don't know if he was like originally supposed to be black or if it was supposed to be soot, but that was what I grew up with. But the way they're doing it now, see,
Okay, so it's
don't.
actually worse.
Oh no, no.
So apparently it's because Black Pete is supposed to be Moorish, who
Yeah.
are black, and then
Uh,
he's a slave to Santa
yeah,
Claus.
that's what I thought, but I was like, that can't be real.
No, I
No.
thought it was just. I know. I don't like this.
But on the other hand, have you heard of the? Wait, I have to, because the Dutch they also have this other thing, which is like this the horse. Do you know this one? Wait, let me check it. I have to. I can't
What?
remember what they call it. I'm
See,
gonna go.
I thought it was just I thought he was just a sooty man.
That
No,
is
he's supposed to be
awful.
Moorish. And
Okay,
he's oh, they put curly hair and that's why he looks like a Sambo cuz he's supposed to be oh no. Why?
yeah, that did not age well. It wasn't well to
I don't
begin with.
I don't like this. I
Okay,
was
but they
having a nice time until this information came to
this is
me.
horrible. Okay, so
Yeah,
they
what?
have something called what? Where is that thing? Because they have like a what
I
is
mean,
it
not like
called?
America doesn't have problematic Christmas traditions, but like,
Okay, I can't pronounce this thing, but they have what the hell? I have a friend who's Dutch, and they told me
yes.
about this, and I have no idea how to pronounce it. But basically, um, no wait, is this? No, this isn't a Dutch thing. This is a Welsh thing. Sorry, it's a
Oh,
horse. Uh, it's a hobby horse made from a horse's skull,
oh,
mounted on a
the Maryland!
yeah, mounted
I
on a
love
pole
the Maryland.
and carried under a sackcloth, and it comes to your house and wants food,
Yeah,
and
my
it's
friend actually dressed
terrifying.
up as one for me. So, okay, it's actually much better. If the Maryland comes to your house, they will demand usually alcohol and sweets, and
Right?
to get it out of your house, you have to beat it in a battle of riddles.
Yeah, that's
You
how
have
it
to do
went.
a
Yeah.
rap battle with an undead horse who's drunk and eating all your shit. I love it. My friend dressed up as one for me because I'm in love with that tradition, and she made Welsh cakes that year. They were very, very yummy. Um, I
I just
like
want.
other.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just want to
they're
say that
scary.
the reason why I thought this was Dutch was it was because my Dutch friend told me about it.
Yes,
But
yeah.
yeah,
No, so
that
it's a
was
whole
wild.
part. It's a whole part of Vossling. Which okay, Amanda is nerd chapter 527. So
We're all
Vossling
nerds.
is this thing where you go about and you collect the ingredients to make Vossel, which is like a spiced wine thing for Christmas. So like, yes, it's very badass. Yeah, like I also can't imagine like being good at it on the spot. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it's like an undead horse.
Yeah, and there's a terrifying
Asking.
horse mask asking. Yeah, like basically, it's the guy from the ancient Magus's bride
Yeah,
asking,
yeah.
demanding alcohol and sweets from you, and then demanding you to a rap battle. Like, I don't think I would fold under pressure immediately
I
like
don't
that.
think I'd be very good at that.
But
Yeah.
so Vossling, yeah, like you take all the ingredients of like this like spiced wine punch. So actually, the Christmas Carol, "Here We Go a Caroling" used to be "Here We Go a Wassailing." So basically, it's like essentially mobs of people who are like drunk and rowdy go house to house demanding things. And it's
As one should.
very fun. Like
That is
it's
amazing.
really really fun, and it's a part of this like long tradition of doing this, and the Marland is part of it. So you go make wassail, because that's in Wales they often do use a real horse skull, so it's more terrifying. Um,
If you're gonna do it.
I mean, a lot of people will also use fake ones now, because horses, but there's there is a not slim chance. I was about to ask if he was a Wendigo, but that's a deer. Yes, that is a deer.
I can't.
Yeah, if you see someone with a deer head approach you, do not answer the door. That is a Wendigo.
You know, I've been so confused about Wendigos because like when I was a kid, I was watching Charmed, and there was a Wendigo episode, but it kind of looked like a werewolf, and they were absolutely terrifying, and that's what I think
Yeah.
of when I hear the word Wendigo, and then I find out they're
So,
deer.
well, no, they just have deer antlers.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't have any antlers.
Okay, so spoiler, I'm not Native American, but I am a nerd. So the
Are you
Wendigo
sure?
usually. Am I sure that I'm not Native American?
Are you sure you're a nerd?
Oh, I was. It's like, am I sure that I'm not Native American? Yes.
Checks what? Okay.
Checks skin color, I was saying. Like, checks.
Oh. No, I thought you were
No.
like, no.
No. They probably used a horse who died naturally. Yeah, no, they're not out murdering horses.
Oh my.
No, they're not murdering horses for Christmas. That's not what's happening. What
This
I've
is
been to
horrible.
what I've been to imply is just like a lack of horses. No,
Welcome
they're
to the
not.
Yaoi shelf where we kill horses for Christmas. And then
I mean, the Danish still eat them, and they get shit for it every year.
did you hear about the IKEA scandal? When they found out that they had been using horse meat in the IKEA food and people just completely lost it.
No.
Because it's not like people don't eat horses, It's just that having people eat horse without
Hmm.
informing them that they're eating horse apparently is not a great thing to do. Don't do it.
I mean, we eventually will run out of food because humans are a plague. What was I saying? So the Wendigo is a giant monster that you get because of the Wendigo spirit that possesses you, and it drives you to be a man eater. They're usually gaunt, and they look like the flesh is dripping off their skeleton.
Sexy.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
look like they're wearing like a too large of a skin suit size. And they
Yeah.
usually have antlers. They usually lack gums and lips because they've chewed them off, and in the attempt to sate their hunger. Also like glowing eyes, and yeah, they're a lot. They're a lot.
Yeah.
I practically glow in the dark and actually have a very small amount of chip away me, but I'm mostly Finnish. Oh, hello, Finland.
Yay. I
I
love
do love.
Finland.
I would say I don't think that there's much negative to say about Finland. It is a wonderful place. But yeah, Anne Rice died.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right, that was okay, yeah. Gay
yeah,
vampire.
that's how we got here. Anne Rice Anne Rice died. Um I mean, it's a blow to the fandom community, but I also think that she's a great example of like the author is dead, long live the author.
Yeah.
Because yeah, she was 80. It was complications of a stroke and she was 80.
I
Uh
didn't even know she was 80. Like,
yeah, she was not young. Slight derail. I was saying this to a friend. Like, I'm not ready to start losing my heroes. Like, I've already lost a few, like Anthony Bourdain and stuff like that, but I'm not ready for like the
yeah.
next like 5 to 10 years where
No.
we really start losing them.
I really don't like I really don't want to talk about this. But but I love Visual K and Visual K artists die.
Yes.
And some of them have been dead for as long as I've known about them.
Mm-hmm.
Heda's birthday is tomorrow. Anyway, but but what really worries me that is a lot of them are in their 50s and some even in
Mm-hmm.
their 60s, and I'm facing this is a real thing. It's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to lose these people. I don't want to outlive them.
Yeah, it's rough. Robin
Yeah.
Williams hit everyone hard. That one was one that I don't think anyone was expecting. That one was rough.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough death talk.
Why it's Christmas? No, okay, yeah. Let's talk about old school Fujo stuff, I guess, because that's what we're doing this month in abundance.
We are doing that in abundance. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the live, uh, I
Do you
think
have
I
any?
said
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said. I feel like I said like challenge us on headcanons or something at the end of it,
Oh
didn't I?
yeah, yeah. I think you did.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't remember
challenge.
because it literally feels like a year ago. Because this week,
I shit you not. I could not tell you uh what we said a week ago. Like I go
oh,
back and I listen to our own episodes and I am like, who the fuck is this person? Like, I don't listen to our show just because I'm a narcissist, but also because I black out and I don't know what happened.
I like go in and check because I just want to make sure that people can hear what I'm saying, and then I cringe a lot.
So
But
yeah, challenge us on our headcanons, challenge us on our bad taste in fan fiction, how far we've come as writers and as Fujin. Ask us questions about ye olden days if you
and
weren't there.
talk about your old days if you
Yeah,
were
talk
there.
about your old
Yeah,
days,
I
because,
want to know what you guys were into, or
absolutely.
tell us your dirty secrets. Because we were like, we did a guest appearance yesterday, and we
We
were
did.
spilling some
Yeah,
cringe. Yeah.
I was definitely wild in last night.
My brain left the building because it was in fact 3 a.m. So I was like, who even cares what I'm saying anymore? Let's
This
just.
is true. We had a great time
It
recording with
was
a BL
so
Garden
much
last
fun.
night.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun. I don't know when their episode is coming out, but it will soon. Also, stop giving me access to fire.
Stop it!
No.
I'm not sending you a wicker goat if you're gonna be lighting things up. Oh my god! And then you're gonna send me like your Christmas card next year is gonna be.
Stop giving me access to fire. I
No!
can't be trusted.
I don't even know. Like, how far away am I though? How far is it from me to you? Like, how am I gonna prevent you from playing with fire?
That's true. It's gonna take a while.
If I start walking now.
If I start walking now. What are you gonna do when you hit ocean, Corolla?
I'm not gonna swim. That's
You're
for
gonna
sure.
charter a ferry.
Maybe
So, so one
I'll hitch a
thing
ride with Santa.
So one thing I did when I was in the anime club is we did like a dumb like Google Maps thing, and it was like, how do you get to Japan by walking?
Oh my god.
And it basically said, walk from Texas to California, and then from
Okay.
California to kayak across the Pacific Ocean. And it's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Like
Uh,
kayak. Okay.
kayak.
Good luck.
I only became a Fujin last year, so I don't really have any stories to share, but it's super interesting to listen to the way y'all did things back in the day and how much stuff has changed over the years. Well, welcome
Yeah.
to the club, better late than
Welcome,
never.
baby
Y-
Fujo.
yeah, things are they've changed a lot. And
Oh yeah.
what really shocked me is that it doesn't feel like it was gradual. It feels
No.
like, it feels like sort of Amanda's a nerd chapter, whatever. It feels almost like sedimentary patterns or like extinction events for like dinosaurs,
Yeah.
where it's just like boom, no more of this animal. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't really
It
feel
really,
like,
really does.
because
And
like,
then
sorry, go ahead.
no, and then you just wake up one day and there's like this completely new convention that someone pulled out of their ass that's like, this is how we do it now. And you're like,
Yeah,
what?
like it definitely does feel so. Okay, it especially feels like dinosaurs because I can say confidently from like 1999 to probably like 2008 was pretty homogenous. I think 2008 to 2010 things started changing.
Hmm.
2010 was its own thing. 2010 to honestly like 2000, probably like 15, really, or even 16 was its own era. And then 2016, whenever Yuri on Ice came out,
Wasn't that
was it
16? No, was it?
was it
No.
16 or 17?
No, 17, I think.
Yeah, so 2016 to Yuri on Ice was its own epic. And then you get now. And like each of those has been its own thing.
And then I feel like the past, I want to say 2 or 3 years, has been an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, the past like 3 years has been a dumpster fire. Oh, Sherlock.
I'm so glad I've just like, I've just lived in a 2D bubble. I haven't watched anything.
So I really wanted to like Sherlock. I really did. I will never trust Steve Moffat with anything.
See, that's the thing though, because that's what I remember from like, the golden age of
Yeah!
Tumblr.
2006.
It's like, everyone being like, fuck Moffat. That's what I remember. I didn't even
Oh,
know
because
who he
he's
was.
so Stephen Moffat is a
I mean, I
director,
know
and
it now,
he.
but I didn't know then.
I'm talking to the audience, Corolla.
Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just disclaiming that I have gained some cultural
No one
competence
was going
over
to
the past.
question your thread. Oh, no one was going to question your nerd cred. OMG.
I'm feeling attacked.
We were
No,
not going to
carry on.
gatekeep you on your own show. What the fuck?
I don't know, dude.
I wasn't going to gatekeep you on the show I asked you to be on. Yeah, 2003. That's right when I
Woo.
started. Yeah, I can probably say like 2004, 2005 is when I started doing BL. Uh, Again, way too
Yeah,
young is the answer. Way
I want
too.
to say, like, I do think that I got seriously into it around 2005, winter 2005, but there was some stuff before that, but it was just like, I didn't have any access to the internet, and I had a ship without knowing
Mm-hmm.
it was a ship. Like, I was. I was very, very casually watching Beyblade. Like, I wasn't watching Beyblade, but it would be on, right? And it was a Norwegian dub. And for some reason, I got really invested. This was really weird because it was just airing. It was just on in the weekends, probably before
Uh huh.
Pokemon. And I was like watching just because it was on. And I got really invested in the arc of that where they dealt with Rei. Like, this is like the first season. Um, and then I was like, oh, he's so cute. And then Kai was so cute. And then, like, freaking 10 years later, I'm like, I was shipping Kai and Rei before I knew that this was a thing. And so, I was there in like the year 2001 or something.
You know what? Now
But
that
I
I
didn't
think
know.
about it, I was doing that with Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah. Oh my
because
god. Yeah.
I was one of those people that had some very, very odd feelings about Maximilian Pegasus, and I noticed very quickly that that was not a boat that was a safe harbor for me
I just.
because he was
Okay.
very clearly a flamboyant gay.
I mean, he was clearly, and I
That
thought
is,
he was like I remember thinking that he had this kind of, but that was probably the long ass white hair. He has this
yes,
like this Sephiroth esque demeanor,
he's
but
a
he's like the flamboyant gay
he's a goofy ass
cousin.
nerd.
Yeah,
He's just a
but
goofy
for
ass
me, I
gay
was like I
nerd.
was so into Yami, and also, and the thing is, I can't remember because the way they aired Yu-Gi-Oh here, I don't even know if they aired the whole series. It was a complete mess. I don't
Hmm.
think I've actually seen Bakura in the series, but listen. I love him. I love Yami Bakura. I'm like,
Hey,
yes.
hey, hey! No one asked you to make us feel old. We don't need this today. This is not the kind of energy we need today.
But yeah.
I was in junior high. Like I make it sound like I was that much older because I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh when I was like 12. Uh,
I don't
and
think
I
I guess
still
yeah.
play the card game. Fun fact.
I've never played the card game. I don't know anything.
It's
I,
hard.
I read the manga. I remember feeling incredibly cheated because the manga came out. It was one of those few series that were actually published in Norwegian, and
Huh.
I thought I thought until like a couple of years ago that I actually had the whole first series in manga form, and then I found out that no, they never finished it. I'm like, what? I've been lied to. I hate my life. No.
But yeah. Oh man, I mean, should we talk about like early ships? Should we talk about Oh, hold on. Did you guys have any misconceptions or preconceived notions about BL before you actually got into it? That you ended up finding were wrong? No. Because it didn't exist.
The only thing that I have, I don't know if it's the whole Yaoi thing, cuz I am a purist, I am a hobby scholar. I love doing panels on the history of BL.
Hmm.
And I will die on the hill that is terminology, and Yaoi
Ah.
people is actually a term used to describe fan made content, and it doesn't have to be sexual. It was used to distinguish parody works from original work. So
Mhm.
when the terms were brought to the West, somehow it was decided that shonenai, which generally wasn't even being used in Japan anymore, was
Mhm.
soft and fluffy, and then yaoi was the hardcore, and we thought that
Mhm.
was the name of the genre. And I didn't even
Mhm.
know what BL was until like I don't know, like 2010, because I didn't understand the concept because we didn't have it. So that was
Yeah.
the only one for me that for the longest time I separated like yaoi and shonenai, but that's not a thing. Like we have to I keep saying this whenever I do a panel on this. Like we have to acknowledge that, history changes, and it's part of the history that those misconceptions and the things that were lost in translation, they
Absolutely.
become part of the history. But
Yeah.
then I also want to be like, but that technically it's wrong, and I don't want to.
Yeah. So
So
see,
that's my yeah.
I always knew the difference, like Shonen I being like the hand holdy, you might get like a hand job over the pants kind of thing, and then yaoi is like the direct view into someone's asshole.
Yeah.
Like that's how I knew the difference. Let's see. Yeah, I first started reading BL. I also had the misconception about that because websites of my anime list made a distinction, although they changed everything. Yeah, also my anime list is not a good tagging system
No, and
because
yeah.
go
It,
ahead.
it's no, it's the same. I use Baka a lot. Like I can't remember
Mhm.
what the actual site is called, but it's the Baka site where you have all the entries. And they still do that. So they still have like Shonen Ai and they have Yaoi. And and of course, like if you look at, I have some June volumes over here from yesterday that,
Mhm.
June actually had the Yaoi manga label on the bottom
Mhm.
of all of their books.
Mhm.
So, you were constantly being fed this, but it isn't terminologically correct.
I also think it's important to remember, and this is something that I had like a very, very long discussion about taxonomy and stuff like that when I was
Yeah.
in college, is that yaoi is less of a genre and more of a feature. So, like, you can have a historical yaoi, you can have a fucking mecha robot yaoi. Like, it's it's not it's not a unifying thing. Like there's supernatural, there's historical, there's mafia, there's all these different flavors of it in the same way that there is for like shonen anime. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes people get tripped up on that because they think that everything is light and fluffy high school, and that's just categorically not true.
Yeah, but it's the same, because the term BL originated in the 90s, and it is actually the commercial term. So it literally means
Mm-hmm.
shonenai, it means boys love. But it was coined by commercial bookstores because in the 90s, funnily enough,
Mm-hmm.
Japan goes, they've been in the bubble economy. The bubble bursts, and the only
Mm-hmm.
place that isn't suffering is Otome Road, which is coming into fruition. Like it's coming, it's happening. There's a
Mm-hmm.
yaoi boom, there's a BL boom. So while everything else is suffering, the BL economy is going really well. And so bigger bookstores and chains start to
Mm-hmm.
cash in on this, and they were the ones that decided that in order to distinguish between the original works and the amateur works, they needed to put up signs. So they would put up signs over their shelves that contained, male content, and they would call it boys love. And so it became the commercialized name for the genre, and thus it became the name of the genre, and also this umbrella term that fits in all of the subgenres. And so BL, BL is, it's like a header, and then within that you have a million smaller genres. And I think that that's one of the great things about BL, because you can find like everything. You want mystery, you want, freaky exorcist people. Who's reading Sankaku Mado? And and you can have flat out porn, you can have high school, you can have detectives, anything, because it's just this huge genre.
You said Freaky Exorcist, and I immediately did think of Eerie Query.
Oh, oh, Ghost Twinks forever.
Oh, Ghost Twinks.
No, I've been watching Sankaku Mado, and I
Yes.
haven't read the manga, and now we're a couple of episodes behind, and I'm like, I don't hate it. I think it's very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, at some point, you guys are going to have actual sex. Yes? Because. Can I? Okay, I
Just,
need to.
just you in the corner of the room. Excuse me, are you guys going to fuck?
I need to know. I have to let the beast in. Hang on a second.
Go let the cat in. Oh my god. Let's see. Noisily lets cat in. I'm so sorry for yawning. As Carola mentioned, we were up late recording last night. Welcome back.
Here we go.
How's the cat?
He's cold, I think.
Oh no. I follow this BL news website and they wrote an article a while ago that the BL tag works more like a demographic, similarly to shonen and shoujo rather than the literary genre. Yes, correct.
Yeah, because within BL you find genres.
Yes. OMG. Okay.
Oh, here he
Yeah.
is.
Sounds yeah, BL's such a great variety. You never get bored. I mean, I do get bored, but I get what you're saying. You do get bored. Developed to BL by accident.
Oh
Okay.
my god!
Oh no, not Angel's Feathers. No.
I
No.
have such vague memories that I can't even remember
Wait
if
a
I
minute.
watched it.
Both I got from the library. Hey yo, what
Yes!
wild and library you at, homie? Whoa.
Legendary.
At first, I was having a hard time understanding their point, and then I was like, I didn't like this. Kita Hatsukoi from regular BL that is published under a BL magazine. Now I understand it a bit better. I guess it's more of a marketing thing. Well, it's marketing and also like I prefer it more from like the taxonomy standpoint. So like for me, uh I don't like fluff very much. So
I
I
love
don't
fluff.
I know you do. Girl, what is
He
going on with you in your life?
he stepped all over my thing and pulled my earbuds straight out of my ears and then wouldn't give them back. So
Sansa, no.
he's now
Mommy's
cuddling the laptop.
mood and relatable.
Oh my god.
But I think of it more like in a taxonomy sense because yeah, like I don't read a lot of fluff, so I don't go for the fluffy stuff. But somehow that means that Corolla and I are still in the same genre, which blows my mind.
But like
But
I'm
yeah.
not but I'm very versatile. I feel like I read everything and I love fluff as much as I love angst, as much as I love porn,
Hmm.
as much as I'm here for all of it. The only
Yeah.
thing is that, I still haven't been able to grasp or get the whole Omegaverse thing. Like I just don't think it is for me. And
I
also
respect that.
on a whole, I really don't like sci-fi. Like
Okay.
most sci-fi stuff, I just can't stand. So
Okay.
every time it's like something that is a bit sci-fi-esque, I get very confused and I just can't follow. This is why I was never into Ainokusabi. Because it was all futuristic. I was like, I don't get it.
What is with
Oh my.
everyone finding this stuff by accident? What are you children doing? How do you
And
how
then
do you
10 count. I mean, it's a great series. I love 10 count. I had it on my top list, but that's a start.
yeah, that's. I mean, we talk like I didn't just say that like jazz and yellow were my starts. Like, I'm over here pretending to be judgmental when fucking
I mean,
sensitive pornograph and
you know,
jazz and.
I just I want to give again. I know I did it. I literally just did it in the actual episode when I was talking about the manga, but I want to give some major props to sensitive pornograph cuz
Hmm.
like and this is the sad reality. Like I keep saying this, like my kid sister-in-law, right? She's young and so hopeful and she'll come over, to play well to play. I mean she's of age, okay? But she'll come over and she'll be like, "Oh, I want to watch BL." And I'm like, "Oh, honey, you don't understand. We've seen all the good ones. This is the sad truth. You've seen everything, and these are the ones that had come out when I was
Hmm.
your age. And the
Hmm.
only thing that is left is sensitive pornograph. Obviously, I'm not going to show that to her because that would be a very awkward thing to do as a family.
I will.
but but sensitive pornograph was amazing because it came out and it was, you know, gorgeous gorgeous characters, no yaoi
Yeah.
anatomy, actually fully animated,
Yep.
consensual sex scenes, uncensored if you
Yep.
got the right version. Great voice acting. And I was like, oh my god, my time has come. And they never made anything like it again.
I mean,
And
I don't
it's,
think they could nowadays.
I think it's so sad. But the thing that really gets me, which I think is really, really weird, is
Yes.
that they keep making these, you know, they keep making the shorter ovas, like Shonen made Kurokun, and I don't even want to say it. We all know, we all know it. The Pico series, and I'm like, you can make this. You can make this and tag it as yaoi, but you don't want to give me uh something good. Okay, I'm sad.
I mean, I'm genuine. Honestly, like whenever I think about like the OVAs that I do have that are boys loving yaoi, I am shocked that the fact that Twittering Birds Never Fly got a movie still blows my
Yeah,
mind. Like, because that did not have a huge American fan base. Like the fact that we got fucking Ko Yoneda animated and made into a movie
yeah,
that Sentai took, fucking poof.
yeah. But I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like these days aren't all bad because, like,
No,
I
they
mean, I know
aren't.
I complain a lot, but and I mainly complain because this is
We
what I
both
want.
complain a lot.
Yeah. And if I can just be self-indulgent for, I am always. But what I want, is this really too much to ask? Like, I want a BL to be adapted into anime where I want it to be full season or half season.
Okay.
I want them to not only do non-con stuff. I want them to keep the sex scenes.
Okay.
Like, is this too much to ask? Why can I only get half season but no porn?
Yes.
Yes. Or OVA with porn,
Hmm.
but it is bad and or non-consensual. Why can I I just want, why is this so hard?
Because yeah, now that I'm thinking, of, like Antique Bakery doesn't explicitly show sex,
No.
uh, but it is very heavily implied. But some of the sex would be non-con.
Yeah.
Fuck. Hitalia doesn't show sex, but there is also a lot of non-con.
But Hetalia isn't even, I don't, I had a moment. Yeah,
I'm
Sasamiya.
I'm glad people are excited about that. It's too fluffy for me.
I've only read the first volume. I have them sitting around. I had to scramble through a nightmare to get volume 4 because for some reason it was impossible to obtain here. I don't even know what happened. There was a supply issue.
As has been for months,
Yeah.
TBH. But yeah, like oh man, for all I will admit, Antique Bakery is beautiful. It is. Antique Bakery is gorgeous. I think it's one of my favorite like boys love animes. Let's see. There's also Tricolored Window season, but I stopped watching halfway through because I was not enjoying it. Seems like manga readers can put that adaptation. That's weirdly one that was not on my list, but I've heard similar things.
Yeah, that was the one I mentioned. I call it Sankaku Mado because I'm
Oh
always
yeah.
keeping the Japanese titles, but yeah, because I am enjoying it. I was really skeptical at first, but then we kind of got into it, and I quite enjoy it. It's just that
Hmm.
it isn't actually doing the gay, but it's working pretty well as a kind of like mystery series. But I'm also wondering
Okay.
because like I haven't read the manga, and I'm pretty sure the manga's like 7 volumes at this point, and I'm like, why are
I
you
think
trying to?
so.
And they're like condensing 7 volumes into 12 episodes, and I already know that this isn't going to end well. So
No, it
but
it
we're
can't.
yeah, but we're enjoying the ride, really.
I mean, I respect that. I'm not gonna fight anyone on it. Just because it's not high on my list doesn't mean that it doesn't have value.
No,
Like there are a lot of things that are not on my list at all, and it's not because they're bad. It's just because I'm old and picky. let's see, Blue Morning rings a bell. I don't think I've
I
read it, but it rings a bell.
I have it, but I haven't read it because I can't remember how many volumes is that because I'm forgetting. I'm mixing it up with a different series that I also have, and one of them is like not completed, and the other one I am missing a volume. I don't even know. Like, because there's one that just hasn't come out yet, and one that is just like will never be published ever, and I can't remember which one this is. But yeah,
Let's see. Me and my clicky clacky
yeah,
keyboard.
I really like that sound. It's like really nice clicky clacky ASMR.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
intentionally modded to be that way.
I
There
enjoy it.
are at least 5 volumes that I can see.
Yeah, okay, because
That feels too long.
that's yeah.
That feels too long.
I actually went through when I went and did the complete
Oh,
idiotic.
volume 8.
Yeah,
Relax.
yeah. Shoko
Relax,
Hida.
guys. Good lord. We were just
Uh,
talking about this last night. Some of these series, I don't know how they're still going.
yeah. No, I made the mistake earlier this year of rearranging my BL shelves. It
Mm-hmm.
was a nightmare and it didn't work. Spoiler. And what I did actually, I started going through all of my ongoing series and I
Mm-hmm.
looked them up one by one to figure out which ones, because I have a habit of like leaving them because I want to binge. And then sometimes I forget to follow how many volumes they actually have. So I have a bunch of series I thought were ongoing that were actually completed. So I went through
Mm-hmm.
all of them and I looked them up series by series and I put sticky notes on them. So, like, this one is complete. This one has this many volumes in Japan. It's ongoing. And so now I know which ones to look out for. And it was a process, but I'm glad I did it. And of course, I
Yeah.
can't remember anything, but
I mean, we're both old now. We're both
yeah,
old now.
I can't
Uh,
retain it anyway.
so let's see. We've talked about where we hung out on the internet. Uh, oh, here's a fun exercise. What was the first thing that got you to write fan fiction?
Is this a question for me?
Y- yes, you.
Okay. Well, I mean, to begin, I don't know. You could have been asking them.
I I would have
Feel
addressed
free
them,
to
Corolla.
answer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would have addressed the audience, Corolla.
I, I mean, I already was writing fan fiction when
Mm-hmm.
I got into BL because I was writing Team Rocket fanfic. I was
Okay.
writing the Straits. The
I al-
Straits.
I also used to write the straights.
Like, every time I think about this, like, if I tried to write a straight couple now, I wouldn't know how. But I mean, coming. Do you want to take a wild guess? Like, do you want to take a stab in the dark and guess what it was? Because, like, what I am a
I
very
don't think you'd be as basic as Sailor Moon.
no, no, it wasn't. Um, like I literally have the same answer to everything. Like,
Is
what
it
got
Naruto?
yeah, what got me into BL? Sasunaru. What was my first BL? Sasunaru Dojin. How did I start writing fanfic? Sasunaru. Always.
Yeah, put those high on the shelf. Put those up.
Yeah.
Put those. Okay, so the thing that got me to write fan fiction was Inuyasha.
Mm.
What got me to write gay fan fiction, I think, was also Naruto.
Yeah, but like but it's like it still comes from the same place because what it really was this unbridled yearning for something to happen between these characters, like, to fill the gap that we
Right.
weren't fed. Like, I just wanted to, and I was already writing. Like, I was writing stories before I could physically write. Like, I was
Yeah,
telling stories. So
mood
this
and
has
same.
yeah, so it's always been that way. And then I realized that, okay, if the show won't make them kiss, I'm gonna make them kiss. Like, okay,
That's
fine,
it.
I'll do
Yep,
it
that's it.
myself.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. I no, because I did the same thing, and like at first, like definitely it was like Mary Sue self insert
I've never done
characters.
that.
I 100% have done it. It was like Mary Sue self insert characters, because I use okay. So get ready for Amanda has angsty seme moment. I have always had a really really hard time. Okay, relatable. I also like Haku too much. I also wanted
Beautiful.
him to kiss Zabuza a lot,
But they were canon though. Like you can't even.
but we never got to see it.
Ugh, I'm
But
having a. Yeah, go on.
so basically, I had so like I said, Inuyasha was my thing that got me to write. I could never relate to Kagome. Like I when the series came out, I was actually not much younger than her, but I couldn't relate to her in any way. Yes. Um
Yes.
because by that time, my dad had died. My mother had given up custody of me, and I was already just like an angsty ball of angst. So I couldn't relate to my name's Kagome. My biggest
Mm,
problem is what to wear to school. Like fuck you, I don't like you. Like I've been through shit. I don't have time for
yeah.
you. So I self-inserted way easier than I probably should have, which is probably a sign that something's wrong with the child. Uh, and then I didn't really start doing gay shit. Yeah, I think until Naruto because it became a series that was one of the few that was I don't just want to kiss you. I want you two to kiss.
Yeah. I think I've never had like self inserts. I've never wanted to be part of it. Like it's always been I want you two to kiss for me.
That's
The
fair.
only thing I will say when I was an even younger child, I was
Mm-hmm.
obsessed. My first obsession when I was like I guess like 4 or 5 was the Ninja Turtles. And then I was obsessed with the biker mice from Mars. And I was obsessed with Vinny. And I wanted to be Vinny. And I wanted the biker mice and the Ninja Turtles to be my older brothers. And I think that's the closest thing I've gotten to like self insert. But I was 6.
I don't know what the fuck you just said.
What? But you
What
don't
the
know.
what the fuck are the biker mice from Mars? What
You
the
haven't seen biker mice from Mars? What kind of
that
childhood?
sounds that sounds so made up, Corolla. What the fuck
No,
are you
it's
talking
so
about?
good, but you have to
No,
see
I
the
think you're
original.
no,
You
I
have to
think
see the
you are
original from
absolutely
1993. Do
no.
not watch the new one.
1993.
I think so.
I was
Thank you. Yeah, because it was huge in Finland too. I know it was.
what the fuck is this show?
We haven't seen it. It is
No!
amazing. It is so so good. And
Oh, it's
even
like SWAT cats.
yeah, and I also watch SWAT Cats. I also really love that show, by the way.
Oh, okay. It's like SWAT
But
cats.
it is so good. And the thing, he is attacking me, and now he is leaving. Uh, no,
Is
but
this your life?
and he took my thing again. Yes.
Just violence.
He is so violent. What the hell? We were all eating Christmas
Okay.
dinner at my parents' house, and he didn't get any, so I think that's why.
Uh, okay, so it's like SWAT cats, but with cheese puns.
But it's like the thing is, like, it's kind of like most of the episodes are standalone. There is an
Yeah.
overlying storyline, but it's generally like standalone, and it's kind of like every episode has like villain of the week or whatever. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, in season 3, they just threw you this. I remember this so vividly. I was 6 years old, and they threw us this curveball where they decided to do like a flashback first. So they told the story of their life on Mars, which was horrific. And then they did one where they kind of went back, and it was like a two-parter. And I remember suffering for a week because I wanted to see how it went, and I was so emotionally invested it almost wrecked me. And I love this show.
I'm okay. So now that I can see it through the lens of like SWAT cats, it sounds a lot less crazy. Because
Yeah,
I really liked SWAT cats, not
it
really
was
like
so cool. That was so
not in a
cool.
self insert way, but in a like, yeah, like this is. There was a video game. Okay, that does sound
Yeah,
very
I've
fun.
never
Okay,
played that video game. I think I actually do have the PlayStation game because someone bought it for me, but then I realized that it was based on the 2012 remake show, which I don't want anything to do with.
It was a remake.
Yeah, but it
It
was
was
so good. And it was
okay.
like um I watched it obviously dubbed in Norwegian, and the Norwegian voices were so good, and it really devastates me because they released. I have two DVDs, so I have like 4 episodes, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a box set with all 3 seasons, but it isn't the Norwegian dub, and it really isn't the same because the thing that you grew up with is kind of like, I mean, Ian Ziering from
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills is Vinny's voice in English, and he is, he does a great job, but it's not the same because
Yeah,
he's not
I'm looking
mine.
at the voice actors
Yeah,
in English.
yeah, and
You
Brian
got Rob
Austin Green's in it.
Paulson, Luke Perry,
Yes,
fucking
like everyone in
Lisa,
Beverly Hills.
Leah Remini,
It is
Brian
serious,
Austin Green. Yeah, okay. You're okay. This is
and
the
it has some
weirdest show
great
I've ever
music.
seen.
Like it has great music. The soundtrack is amazing. It's like actual rock and roll music from
Okay,
the
I
80s.
will allow this aside. I will
Thank
accept
you.
it. Yeah, I mean that looks
Um,
absolutely insane.
Actually slightly related, which is related to the show, I made a discovery a few years ago that I shouldn't be shocked by this, but
Hmm.
obviously there is a fandom for this that made it gay. And I'm not into that because I am not into anthro. And I also had the headcanon that the mice were brothers, and I was a very literal child, okay? We didn't go around calling each
Hmm.
other bro in Norway in the 90s. So when they were
Hmm.
calling each other bro, I thought they were literal brothers. So in my head, they're like actual brothers. And so not that, as I talked about last night
Hmm.
on the other pod, like when has brotherhood ever stopped me from shipping anything, but they are mice. So I'm not into that. But
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
are, it
do.
exists. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really I think we talked about this on the show that like I do have kind of like a great wall where like there are things that because they hit me at a certain age like I don't really see as gay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I joked about like thinking about Pegasus and stuff as gay. Like that's those are fairly recent developments outside of like the initial looking at him and it's like you aren't right. Like, being 12 and looking at him, it's like something's different about you. Uh because my ex used to be super into shipping Yami and Kaiba
Mm.
because
I can see that.
they're practically fucking married. One of the whole plot of one of the movies is that Kaiba builds a phallic space station so he can go back in time to meet Atem or Yami.
Wow.
Like that's the whole fucking point of the movie is that Kaiba is like I will never have a rival like him. It's like you sir your boner, please put it away. Like you built a space station so you could go back to ancient Egypt to meet your boyfriend's ghost. Okay, fine, I guess. Um, but like that initially, like really like squicked me out because it's like I grew up with this. Like I don't
Yeah.
have like true sexual attraction to these characters. Like, did I want Seto Kaiba and I to kiss when I was a kid? Absolutely. But I was not in an age where I could envision him as a sexual being.
Yeah.
So it at first like really made me kind of uncomfortable because I was getting all this dojin and stuff, and it's like I don't want to see Kaiba's dick. I don't like I don't know what
Yeah.
to do with this. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Or, like I mentioned Rebecca Sugar and her Ed Ed Nettie
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
comics because I grew up on Ed Ed Nettie and I loved that and like I never really self inserted to it or anything. But that was definitely a show that was like formative to me and my sense of humor, and that was really, really funny. So I don't envision those characters having sex. That's weird to me. No judgment, but like that was something that was like a
Yeah.
hard mental leap for me to make.
I mean that makes perfect sense. I am the same way. But I mean also most of the things that I was into when I was a lot younger,
Mhm.
like minus 12, not minus 12, but obviously before the age of 12, uh I was mostly into like, anthropomorphic cartoons. So, like Disney movies. Like I
Mhm.
hated, like I didn't like things that had people in them. I only liked animals. So, any
Mhm.
rendition of anything, like, And I mean, we've all been there. Like, even if you're not like into like furries or anthro, I think we all had a small crush on Robin Hood the fox, and
No,
an identity crisis because Kovu was had no business
no,
being this hot as a liar.
no. I
I
was
don't know.
absolute. I was no. You are a fucking liar. No,
Literally
I
everyone I know though.
okay. Everyone else is a deviant, and I'm the pure one.
For once, for
Yeah, no, because I've heard that argument all the time. That has never been the case. I have never looked at that fucking animal at a fucking animal.
but
The
like I
only
don't
time, the only time that I will even humor it is Lugosi and B stars. He's not for me, but I can definitely see
yeah.
why he scratches an itch for some people.
But obviously when I'm saying this, like I still didn't have the same feelings about this that I ended up having for fictional characters later. It was just one of those
Yeah.
things that I was just I you
Stop
see?
trying to have
You
sex with
see?
the fox. No.
But there's like only but so I can't really relate because all of my kind of like I don't want to call them like idols, but yeah,
What
everyone.
is with you
Yeah,
horny
okay, but
people?
Sida, come on, Shark Man.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, he
No.
is so hot though.
Ah.
I have a friend who's like desperately lusting for Ganondorf every day of her life, which I think
Sinners,
is.
all of you. All of you sinners.
But yeah, but like most of my childhood was anthropomorphic characters that I wasn't attracted to or
Yeah,
anything.
no. Shame. Shame on all of you.
I
Every
don't
single one
wanna,
of you.
but but yeah, no, but it's not like that. But it's but I'm just saying I can relate to the whole. This was my childhood, so I don't see it that way. But also,
Yes.
they were animals, so
Yeah,
no,
also
I
they were
don't see it
animals.
that way because I can't physically because that's
Yeah.
not me. But
No, it's not me at all. Yeah, I was weird because like people were like, oh yeah, like oh god, I think it's like the Goofy movie too. It's like, yeah, that one girl from the Goofy movie had no business being that hot. Like she's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dog.
But like,
What the fuck?
I will say this though, when it comes to a Goofy movie, like Roxanne is really pretty.
Everyone says that.
She is really, really pretty. I
I
do
I
love
think
her.
I think as much as I like parts of the Goofy movie, I always get stuck on if Goofy is a dog and Pluto's a dog,
I know,
why is one
right?
a person and one a pet?
Yeah, it doesn't sit right, does it?
Like I had that with Animal Crossing really hard because I gave my hamster a pet hamster.
That's just dark. That's slavery. I'm like,
So I gave the hamster named Hamfrey a hamster in a cage, and the hamster in a cage is inside Hamfrey's house on my
this is
land.
this is literally Animal Farm. This is all animals are equal, but some animals are more
Or less
equal than others.
equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I think of that because it's still in his house.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I gave you what separates you from this hamster. I think it's because they barely look like animals. But he's still a dog. Like he's still canonically a dog. So
Yeah.
what separates him from Pluto, who's a pet?
But I think yeah. But I mean, even so, like I'm willing to completely ignore that because that film is great and the
Oh,
music is
it's a
amazing.
great
Like
film.
Powerline.
I have nothing negative to say about the film. It's one of those things. So you were not privy to the 2 hour conversation me and my best friend had because okay, you guys need to sit down for this.
I am
So
sitting.
also what audience. So one thing I'm really into is like I really like Jim Henson and like puppetry and stuff like that.
Mm.
Uh 4 feet good, 2 feet better, poor hamster. Yes. Uh
Animal Farm. Yeah.
yes. And so I was we were talking about Muppets and stuff like that, and we got to Rosita, who's a Hispanic American Muppet, and she teaches Spanish.
Mm.
Well, it says her father served in Iraq, and he lost his leg or legs in Iraq. And like there's a whole like special with Rosita and her family talking about like her dad coming home in a wheelchair and like him basically having like PTSD and stuff. And like that was a whole thing. But I got stuck on the Muppet served in Iraq. So you're telling me that during Operation Iraqi Freedom, there were Muppets.
Apparently.
And we went down, I shit you not, 2 hours that led us down the deepest rabbit hole. Because then what you're saying, because now they're also trying to do like race and puppets. Like there's like, oh, here's an Asian American Muppet and here's a black Muppet. So you're
Mm.
saying that there was a puppet civil war, that there was puppet Hitler, that there's puppet China,
Oh no.
that there was a puppet Amistad that gave us puppet slavery for us to have puppet African Americans. Did they pick the cotton that fills them? Because you don't get to say this is an African American puppet and assume that they just poof existed, because now you're saying that there is puppet racism and puppet gentrification. There was a puppet Thomas Jefferson who fucked his puppet African slaves. Yeah, Muppets go to Iraq. Yes, please.
Ye- I
There
feel
was a
yeah.
Muppet that was in the Gulag under Stalin. So there was Muppet Hitler. Like, don't. I am that. I am the worst person. Wait, that's Sesame Street. Yes, I know that's Sesame Street. I am interchanging puppet and Muppet. Deal with it. But like, I'm the worst person when it comes to stuff like that because I zoom in on those little details and it's like, no, you don't get to just say
Mm.
that this puppet went to Iraq because now you are insinuating that during Operation Iraqi Freedom there was a puppet division.
That is yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You do have a point.
It's insane, but I do have a point. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think, but I mean, I don't think it's insane. It's just because the existence of Y implies X. You know?
Yes. Yeah, I'm 100% that person. Like when people bring me their fiction and it's like, okay, I want to have like this fictional racism. It's like, but there's real racism. Why do you want to have fictional racism?
Yeah.
Well, it's Tolkien's fault. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's fault, but he's the reason we have fictional racism, and then also racists. Um, Speaking of, it took us approximately 24 hours after the canceling of the live action uh, Cowboy Bebop season for think pieces to start saying that it's because of racism and sexism that Cowboy Bebop got canceled.
Isn't it just poor writing and
Yeah, it's actually just really
disrespect of
bad.
the source
Yeah,
material?
like it's actually just a really bad show, but like there are all these think
I guess
pieces now.
that's like a tough pill to swallow. Like, oh, it was just bad. Well, we can't have that. We gotta blame it on wokeism.
I really hate that because like there are plenty of things that I just don't like and it has nothing to do with race,
Yeah, of
but it
course.
gets lumped into race. But I also can acknowledge like into the Spider-Verse. We were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
Um don't look at the reviews for that movie online
No, I
because the
never look at the
amount of
reviews.
people who are like, "Why Spider-Man all colored now?" And it's just like all of you are every single one of you are fucking terrible.
I
There are
just I
just so many comments like that.
I just, I have never, I just realized I never put up my ring light. Okay, whatever. You can see me. But no, but we've talked about this. I don't particularly like superhero movies unless
Mm-hmm.
it's X-Men because I love the X-Men.
You would.
But
That would be the one.
but but we did a thing, we did like a Spider-Man thing.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I thought I didn't like Spider-Man, even though I used to watch the cartoon. But we
Mm-hmm.
watched all of the Spider-Man movies, and fun fact, we did it in the wrong order because we started with Spider-Verse, and I absolutely loved it. And then we went
Mm-hmm.
backwards. So we saw the Tom Holland movies, the Andrew Garfield movies, and then the Tobey Maguire movies in that
Yes.
in that yeah. And I realized that I actually really really love Spider-Man, and
Mm-hmm.
while I do absolutely adore Tom Holland, I think he is adorable and I
Mm-hmm.
really do like the current Spider-Man series. Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man, and I love him and I want to protect him with my life because he is amazing and his costume. I am so in love with this costume. Like seriously, he's
Absolutely.
so cute.
Right. I no, I completely agree with you. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah. So you'd be shocked that people don't know who Miles Morales is, but also just racism.
Yeah.
A lot of it was also. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna scapegoat anyone, but a lot of it also came down to marketing because a lot
Mm.
of the headlines were Spider Man's black, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's a version of Spider Man who has always been of Afro Caribbean descent. But a lot of headlines will do that. It's what killed that Ghostbusters movie with all the women in it. Not
Yeah.
just that it was a badly written movie, but it's like, your dreams are dead. Ghostbusters women now. It's like,
But it's like, yeah, and I and I hate this. Like, I feel like there should be a law. Like, if you are making, and particularly for, and I know you'll probably agree with me because you are a social media manager, but like, you see this all the time. You have social media managers on Facebook, for instance, and they are at the same time as they're doing editorials on
mm-hmm,
how, oh, there's so much hate in the comments,
mm-hmm,
they are also making these really clickbaity captions when they are
yep,
posting their articles, and they're like,
yep,
especially the thing that the Norwegian papers likes to do is like they will take something really controversial like gender or transness, and then they will ask like, what do you think about this? Like, why do you want vitriol? You want people to be transphobic in the comments. Like, don't
right,
go and write a huge piece on how you can't release these pieces on the weekends because you don't have enough staff to monitor the comment sections when you're going
mm-hmm.
to go out there and encourage people to debate someone else's gender.
No, absolutely, and you're completely right. It's one of those things that they say, "Oh, well, social media is so toxic." Blah blah blah. It's because you made it toxic.
Yeah.
Like we
Like,
did
fucking do your
this.
job then.
We have to take responsibility for this because you're right. I'm a social media manager by day, so I hear all the time Facebook is a cesspit. Blah blah. No, Facebook is a neutral platform. You made it bad. Literally, I was a part of a lawsuit settlement that gave money to Facebook content moderators because most of us were very underpaid to witness some of the most horrendous shit on the internet
Yeah.
because that has to get hand filtered. So beheadings, suicides,
Yeah.
murders. When people are like, this video didn't get taken down fast enough, it's because someone's eyes have to look at it to take it down. So I actually got a pretty sizable payout from Facebook and an attorney because I could sue for emotional distress.
Yeah. And I
Like,
read something about this quite recently about
yeah,
what it's actually
I
like.
was a part of that lawsuit because it's true. Like people are like, oh, Facebook's a cesspit because we made it a cesspit. Cesspits don't naturally exist.
No.
You had to do this.
Someone put in the work to make it that way.
Yeah, Facebook did not wake up one day and it was trash. Your uncles and aunties and my cousins, we made it trash.
Yeah.
And now it's just too big to fix. It's too big for any one person to fix. It's too big for in there were for the entire subcontinent of India. There are 5 people on that content moderation team.
That says a
5
lot. Yeah.
for the subcontinent of India. There is a lot of shit that is going to keep getting posted because there is not physically enough people to handle it. We're not talking about being old and Fujins. That was Amanda getting heated about social media because I hear that constantly, and it's like, I want to take my marketing off of Facebook. Facebook bad, bang bang bang. It's like you made it bad. It's your fault. It's bad. Like, do I think Facebook is doing everything they can? Obviously not.
Nope.
But it was not like this 10, 15 years ago. It wasn't.
No.
This is recent.
Which, does actually relate to old Fujin days.
Yes, please tie it
Yeah.
back. Tie it back.
Because, I mean, everything was different. And
It was.
yeah. And I mean, again, and I've said this, I feel like we've said this in literally every episode. Like, it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
everything was rainbows and butterflies and everything
No,
was great.
absolutely not. We do not.
But it,
We do not. We're not like Americans who are like, oh man, I wish I could go back to a simpler time. Like when you could own people. What are you talking about?
yeah. No, and it's like, people could get really friggin' wild on like LiveJournal and like really mean. Uh,
Absolutely.
I again, I have never been particularly active in fandom. I am incredibly antisocial, but
Mm-hmm.
I have the times that I have gotten like seriously attacked in fandom were in my
Mm-hmm.
live journal days because I would say something that was and it was never really controversial or anything. It
Mm-hmm.
was just I said something and then someone was vehemently against that particular idea
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like, let me tear your head off for this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yikes. I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, it definitely wasn't perfect. I mean, we're not even going to talk about all the racism and gatekeeping, because that was and still is a
Yeah,
thing.
I think, yeah,
Um, you can only imagine the experience I had as a young black woman
absolutely.
on
Like, I
the
have
internet
no
back in the
idea what that was
day.
like, but I do know that
Trash.
I think it was definitely more racist
It was so racist.
because there was no
It was so
uh
racist.
yeah, because it's like I feel like the idea that like the controversial or like new idea that
Mm.
people of color belong in fandom, like people are acting like this is something that we just figured out recently.
Yeah, and it's not. Like actually I got into a fight with a pretty famous YouTuber about it because he kind of likes to white knight, and
Mm.
he loves talking about black issues, but he's often talking over black people.
Yeah, don't do
And
that.
thank you. I basically said, I wish you would leave this to black creators. And he said, well, I don't know that many other black comic book fans. Bitch, you live in Dallas. What the fuck are you talking about? I am. Like, you're in my hood. Like, it's not even like I don't know. You're in Dallas, bitch. We're everywhere. Go to the shop. We exist. Uh, but no, to speak on that experience, basically the issue with being black and in fandom and being a woman in fandom is it's like a three-pronged issue. One, no one assumes that you know what you're talking about. Just no one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Two, they do not believe that you are genuinely in this. So for instance, I had my DS. I was playing video games while I was waiting for the bus, and this guy was like, "Oh, what are you playing?" I'm like, I'm playing Smash Brothers." And it's like, "Oh, I didn't know that girls played video games." And I dead ass said, "Girls don't play video games because when guys like you come up to girls who play video games and say you didn't know girls play video games, we just do it inside."
Mm.
Like, yeah, we do play video games, but you are not the first guy that has said this to me, and you will not be the last.
Yeah.
And then three, which is my favorite, is you're doing this for clout, and its
Mm.
cousin, you are doing this for male attention.
Yeah, yeah. That one.
This one is my absolute favorite because, especially being black and AFAB, the amount of crusty white men that tell me that I am only a fangirl for their unwashed dicks. Bitch, I've been doing this for over 20 years. My dick is bigger than yours, and I know
Uh-huh.
more than you. If I was in this game for male attention, I am in the longest of long cons.
Yeah. I mean, give yourself an award at this point,
Yes,
Like
metalheads can do this too.
yeah. Like but
Accurate.
apply to anything male
Yeah, realistically
dominated.
apply to everything because it exists everywhere.
Also, no, no, okay, you're moving again. You were frozen.
Oh no!
But yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. And I think we all as, feminine and women and whatever we experience this, but black women definitely more. And I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I know a lot because this is one like it's like tangent, but being in this very small country, like we have 5 million people in the entire country, and
I think we
and
have. What? That's so small.
yeah, I know, right?
Wow, that's so small.
And it's
Where do
not
you all
like
fit?
I mean, we have it's very long, and there are very
Oh,
few
okay.
people in like, and everyone lives in Oslo, so Oslo's super crowded.
Oh, okay. I had to look at a map. I'm like, where? I don't know why my brain confused you with like Denmark for a minute. I'm like, where do you all fit?
No,
Where are
no,
all of you?
we just dig holes at this point
I'm
and live in the ground. It's okay. We have Wi-Fi. We're fine. But yeah, no, but we are a relatively small population, and contrary to popular belief, we aren't white. We aren't all white. Like, we have people of color, we have immigrants, we have native people, but
that you
but
treat relatively well most of the time.
except we didn't for a very long time, and it was we're
You,
working, yeah.
but you're making steps,
Yeah, but
which I appreciate.
what I wanted to say is that we obviously aren't a homogeneous group of white people, but also
Hmm.
we are predominantly white. And for instance, where
Hmm.
I live, which just happens to be obviously, now as an adult, I see that there are more, like, there are socio-economical factors and everything that go into this, but we are a pretty equal country. And I think it was just a fluke that
Hmm.
when I went to elementary school, there were literally only two kids at my entire school who weren't white. There was an
Hmm.
Asian, and there was, I think he was like Sri Lankan. I can't
Oh,
remember
cool.
because he started the first grade when I was in the seventh grade, so I didn't exactly know him. Uh,
Hmm.
but I believe he was in the same class as my cousin, which is why I think I remember where he was from. But yeah, so I didn't know any non-whites growing up. So,
Hmm.
I can't speak to that at all because we didn't and even now, like, the fandoms, and being in fandoms and being, like, for instance, the Norwegian cosplay scene is really
Hmm.
white, and it's not
Hmm.
really because there's no room for diversity, but it's like, literally, where are you people? Like,
Right.
there are so few of us, and I can't remember where I
Absolutely.
was going with this, but it's just like, that experience.
I will happily be a diverse cosplay guest for you guys.
Please do, like, if
Yeah,
we
I
will if
will.
if we ever open back up
Are you
and like
guys going
can
to decide to remain close? We're just done.
like if we could just
We're done with
have
commerce. We give up.
if we could just, like, have
We're
people come
going.
visit,
We're
that would
going back to the Viking ages.
yeah, like,
No,
we're only
we're
gonna
done.
open the borders to go and loot someone
Right?
else.
Like I
Ireland,
love.
we are
I love
coming.
that idea. It's like we're going back. We're done. We're done with international commerce. It's back to farming and
Yeah,
pillaging. Bye,
yeah,
guys.
that's what we're gonna do because the oil supply is ending, and we're gonna have to do something. So I guess that's
This
what
is
we're doing.
this is very true.
But
Yeah,
yeah, but
I will
yeah,
happily be a diverse cosplay
that
guest
would
for
be
you.
yeah, that would be really great. And, like, but my point was, it's from coming from that experience. I never considered, that was my point, that I never
Yes.
considered that someone else's experience could have more layers in a different way
Hmm.
than mine, because I
Hmm.
just figured we all had the same experience growing up as nerds and as, female nerds. And then I realized, no, because you add more layers if you have a different cultural background, if you have a different skin tone,
Hmm.
but I'd never thought about that, and that isn't, willful ignorance, but it is because it wasn't something that I was aware of, because we didn't know anyone,
Yeah,
and there was
absolutely.
no
I
talk
mean,
about it.
and the thing is that because, being African American, I'm still a part of a minority here, it just becomes everyone's experience. So you talk to other black fans and they're all treated like shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I guess this is just how it is. And, then you talk to other people and it's like, oh, they weren't supposed to say racist things to me? Cool. Like,
And, like, yeah, and, like, likewise from the other side, because I think that this is it's so weird being a non-American on the internet, because the
mm-hmm.
world just assumes that if you're communicating in English, you're an American, and they just
Yeah.
apply all of these things. And I'm like, but how, like, are you random person with an egg avatar on Twitter? going to chastise me because I didn't know this one thing about America. Like, okay, tell me who the Prime Minister of Norway is. Like, do you know this? Because apparently I need to know who the governor of friggin' Kentucky is. I don't know.
In all
You
fairness, I don't know who the governor of Kentucky is, and I'm an
no, that
American.
was the first thing that came to me. But the
Like, in
point
all
is,
fairness, I'm an American, and I do not know who that person is.
I don't understand. Like, you people have so many like governors and everything. Like, I don't even know. I
Okay,
barely know who the mayor
so
is.
let me
Okay.
see if I have this right. Y'all have a prime minister, but also a king?
Yeah,
But the king is just a fancy figurehead.
yeah, but he's like a really cool figurehead. Like, it's not like the Queen of
Okay,
England where everyone is like, she's
yes.
kind of cool, but she's,
A
uh,
vampire who steals
yeah,
swans?
yeah, but the Norwegian king is like everybody loves this guy and he has a great sense of humor. I don't know if you've seen this. There is an interview of the king and queen. This was a couple of years ago. He has the best sense of humor. So they're sitting
Hmm.
and they're talking about one of our oil platforms. And again, not really endorsing this, but they're talking about one of our oil platforms and
Hmm.
our and our king turns to the queen and he says, "Oh yeah, that one's named after you." And she's like, she looks at him and she's like, "What are you talking about? It's called Troll." And he's like, "Yeah, exactly." And then he starts laughing and it's the funniest thing. I love this man.
That is very sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a constitutional
Yeah, it's a
monarchy.
constitutional monarchy and everyone kind of
But
loves it.
yeah, he does look like the he looks like the not undead version of Prince Philip.
Yeah, and he's like, he did this speech a few years ago that literally made everybody cry because like he literally started the speech with, Norwegians believe, Norwegians are girls who love girls and guys who love guys and young people who love each other and they believe in God and they believe in Allah and they believe in nothing. And he's just like really out there, like
Yeah,
he's
we
so
don't
cool. We
we
love this
don't
man.
have we don't have chill politicians
But on the
anywhere.
other hand, our prime ministers have been a little. We
Nutty.
just had an election, and we are very glad to be rid of the last one. Although the new one, he wasn't my first choice.
I will say this. Oh, let's see. My anime club died when I left because other girls came in and
Oh
got
God.
offended by every pervy joke. When I was there, I would make the worst jokes and put them in their place. Yeah, that happens a lot. Um, the problem is though, is that like I'm of such two minds about this kind of stuff because there's a portion of me that gets it that like there is
Mm.
this over sexualization in anime. That is 100% true. It's sort of like that whole like conversation about sexualizing minors and like minors in fiction and stuff like that. Like that there is a valid point in there. We do sexualize a lot of minors in fiction. That does not mean that readers are pedophiles,
No, thank you.
but there is a valid point in that. Like if you lined up a bunch of like air quotes minors from anime, would we be able to tell most of these are minors? No. Are
No.
there lots of characters that are air quotes minor coded, which is a word that I still hate, but yeah, they are. Are there some
Yeah.
characters that are autistic coded where you question consent? Yes, there are. Does that mean that creator and or reader is pedo? No, or not necessarily. So, like to me, there is a valid concern about that because yeah, a lot of anime clubs are full of jokes about sexualizing women and not every girl is going to be comfortable with that. I was told to be comfortable with it because that's what guys do.
Mm.
And I didn't want to be like the girls. I wanted to be like the guys
Yeah.
because
Same.
misogyny.
But yeah, and this is one of those things also that was such a major thing back then because we've talked about this. Like
We
essentially
have.
consent didn't exist. And we didn't understand like because the concept of consent was so iffy, because it wasn't talked about, but we didn't also, the thought that consent extends beyond the bedroom
Hmm.
wasn't a thing. Like I didn't realize that, making someone uncomfortable with pervy jokes is also kind of a violation because like if they're
Yeah.
just like uncomfortable with it then don't do it, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like sexually harassing. your friend.
No, I had that all the time. Not to cut you off, but
No.
in high school we had a lot of guys with their hentai Bibles, their H Bibles, and they would just sling that thing around. And like I would get this all the time. Where it's like, oh, you like Inuyasha, and they like flip it open, and it's like this is hardcore pornography. And especially at the time, I was like 14 years old. That's a whole ass crime now.
Yeah, and like
I
and
mean,
it
it
go
was still back then, but you know.
yeah, but like and it goes both ways. Like I'm not saying I did this. I honestly can't remember having done this to make anyone uncomfortable on purpose, but I definitely think that, being a young teen and being into this stuff and like you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a little edgy and like, oh, look
Mm-hmm.
at me, look at what I'm reading, like look at this
Mm-hmm.
and showing things to people that maybe they didn't want to see. And there's such a huge difference. I have this one friend um and we will watch like the weirdest stuff together. Like he's the kind of
Mm-hmm.
friend we will do like we have like girl nights where we watch sad anime films and cry, and then we have days where we just where it's like, okay, we have nothing to do. Let's get pizza and watch some really bad hentai and laugh, and we'll do that like completely platonic. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
huge difference between doing that and me like pulling out some hardcore pornography just to see how they would react. Like, look at this yaoi, like.
Mm-hmm.
And but back then you didn't realize that that wasn't cool, and so it definitely is like a dual-edged sword, because I don't believe in the purification of fandom. I think that there
Mm-hmm.
definitely needs to be a space for us to like do these things. Like there's nothing wrong with dirty jokes. Like watch Shimoneta. It's amazing. It is.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love that show. But also I also don't think that making people uncomfortable on purpose.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah.
so many guys would do this. So many guys would do this. Just fucking hentai in the middle of the day. Actually, uh so I was anime club president in high school and I was on like the student council. And I remember going to a meeting and it's like one of the guys from the football team and I'm oh my god, I'm 16 or 17 years old. I'm probably closer to 16. He's like, "Hey, you got any of that Asian porn?" Like it's drugs. Like I'm gonna open up
Yeah,
my
yeah,
trench
yeah,
coat
yeah, yeah.
and there's just like hentai, and it's like I
You're like
think
that
you're
guy, in Resident Evil 4, the salesman who's like, "What are you buying?" I
yeah,
remember.
like that was gonna happen. I mean, not like I didn't have yaoi on me, but it's like you got any of that Asian porn? It's like
Hmm.
I think you're referring to hentai, sir, and no, that is not the primary focus of our organization. I mean, had a lot of yaoi on me, but
As one did. Like, who didn't?
had a lot of yaoi on me. But like that was just something that, like in hindsight, I think, oh my god, when did I talk about the miniskirt army? Was that in the episode?
I I can't remember. I think it was in the episode. Yeah. If I again, it was that
Okay,
was 100 years ago.
it was. So to retell, in Dallas Fort Worth, we had a fan club to Roy Mustang called the Miniskirt Army. That was uh, very, very widely joined, and one of the main features of it was Travis Willingham, the voice actor for the mini for Roy Mustang. And okay, first of all, anyone recommending Boku no Pico to you needs to be stopped. Second of all,
And I mean, seriously, like, can I just say this? Because I see kids doing this all the time. Recommending Boku no Pico doesn't make you edgy or cool,
no.
okay? Like, I
Showing your
watched
friends
it.
disembowelment porn makes you edgy.
I will say this. I watched it. Have I told this story? I don't even. Why am I doing this on live and putting it on the? But I mean, everybody knows this story. It's not like if you claim that you haven't seen it, I don't know if I'll believe you. Cause like, when it came out. Sorry to interrupt you, by the way, but I
You're
just want to
good.
get this off my
You're
chest. Like,
good. You're good.
when I first saw this, the thing is, what happened with that OVA was that it was released by Arin, right? And Arin did
Hmm.
all the BL. So when they had a new title, you just took for granted that it was going to be voice love, that it was going to be Yaoi. So you just downloaded it
Hmm.
and you watched it or whatever. So I did, because I was like, wow, Arin has a new title, and I
Hmm.
thought, because this was right after sensitive pornograph. Oh no. And so, I just assumed that that guy was going to be the main character, and I was just waiting for the
Hmm.
other guy to show up. And he never did. And then and it's like it's this complete horror story, and I'm just sitting there like, what is this?
I don't know why he got so funny. Like, I was waiting for the other man.
But this is like, what is this from? Because this literally sounds like, I don't know if this is like a Seinfeld episode or something, but there is someone in some old ass thing talking about accidentally watching gay porn, and it's like the women never showed up, the women never came, and I'm like, this is the exact experience I had with Boku no Pico. I just,
Mm.
because it wasn't tagged as shota, and it was an experience, and it's, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Am I endorsing it? Absolutely not. I'm just saying, like, you're not the edge lord you think you are if you're going around saying, oh, I've seen it, especially not in this climate, because, like, I wouldn't brag too much about that today, because you could be.
No,
I
absolutely
mean, the
not. I
kids
would
are out
not.
there reporting people to the friggin' FBI over drawings. I don't think I would talk too loudly about
Yeah,
this.
this is 100% true. I was going somewhere. Where was I going?
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I decided to talk about
It's
Shotacon,
okay.
and
It's
now I
gone
regret my
now.
life.
No, it's okay. It's gone now. But yeah, like that's. I mean, that's a pretty good insight into. Yeah, don't watch Boku no Pico. You can't. We can't recommend that for anyone.
I will say this though,
No, you will not.
the theme song is really really catchy.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why. Also, I was at, oh my god, when I was in Japan in 2016, we were at Nakano Broadway shopping for
Hmm.
discount figures, and we walked we walked past a window, like one of these huge ass window displays, and I kid you not, there's a Boku no Pico figure like sitting in the window, and I was like, who made, why, I want, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. It was horrible. It's like, what year is this? Why?
What year is this? Have I become a terrible time
Of course,
traveler?
the thing about Nakano Broadway is, of course, that they basically only sell like secondhand things and like a lot of vintage.
Hmm.
So obviously it wasn't produced in 2016, but it was a shock. I was like, why would you put this on display?
Yeah, that sounds pretty fair. That sounds that sounds pretty fair.
Yeah, but yeah,
But
no,
yeah.
but that was, those were the times we lived in, because that, I feel like that exemplifies as well how it was, because we were starved, and we just like jumped on any opportunity, and then
Hmm.
you really got traumatized, like you
Yeah,
would.
I do think I want to wrap this up by talking about like tags and stuff like that
Yeah.
and trigger warnings because I don't hate trigger warnings, but I also think that the expectation of them, one, and two, how people use them has gotten a little weird. Because to me, the point of a trigger warning is then to make you aware, not to make you stop reading a thing. And then two, if you continue reading that thing, you can't be mean to the author.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
especially.
I've read a lot of things that were not tagged and they have emotionally destroyed me and or physically disgusted me. And I don't think that that's fine, but I'm not dead yet. But if I see
Only
one
on
more
the
person,
inside.
well, I mean that was other things' fault. But if I see one more child see a trigger warning in the top of a thing, scroll all the way down to the bottom,
Read all of it.
read all of it, and then say, I was triggered by this thing. It sort of feels like don't make me tap the sign. And like
Yeah,
the signs.
like, but
It's
it's
like,
like, yeah. And I also feel like, I mean, because the thing is, and I say that, like, I say this, like, people have triggers, like, and some of us have really
yeah.
weird triggers. Like, okay, I have severe emetophobia,
Yes.
so, like, and a lot of people don't even know that's a thing. And I get this a lot. I get, people tell me like, "Oh, that's nothing to be afraid of." Like everyone thinks it's disgusting. No, I don't think it's disgusting. I think about it every waking moment of my life because I'm so afraid of it. Like this is a serious debilitating trauma that I have in my life. But I'm not gonna, I understand that it's something that doesn't trigger a lot of people. So I don't expect everyone to tag, I don't expect everyone to tag it if it happens, like in a fic or whatever. And I think that that's an important thing too. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the time people like major things like, gaslighting and sexual assault and character death or drug abuse, those are things that I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we all typically would mention just because,
Mm-hmm.
everyone isn't comfortable with that. But you can't expect everyone to be aware of every single trigger, and
Absolutely.
you can't expect everyone to be aware of your specific trigger. Like if
Right.
you, yeah, because if you have a thing that you can't handle, it would
Mm-hmm.
be natural for you to mention it because you're aware that other people might feel that way. But
Well, and to counter, it's then so like it's something that I learned about you that I actively try to not do around you because I know that. Uh,
thank you, I appreciate.
you're welcome. But also like, and I talked about this last night on our Patreon exclusive video, but it's not really Patreon exclusive necessary. But there was a fan fiction that I read that was that was tagged for euthanasia.
Mm.
I was set up for this. I knew it was happening. Uh hold on. Renew the Healer completely disgusted me, but it's a shocking amount of people that like that. Me with everything that I like. In a moment we will address what a memento is. Uh but I read that tag. I digested that tag with me and all of my dead parent trauma. I read that fan fiction, and by
Yep.
the end, I was crying a lot. And I did have a trigger response to it because
Yeah.
I have dead parents. Was it my place to yell at fanfic author? No. Did
No.
it trigger me? Yes.
And I mean, the thing is, I mean, we all have different responses. We all have different, needs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I'm not, but we need to. I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just, but I'm not saying that. What am I even saying? I don't know. I had a point. There was a. I'm just saying, again, like we are responsible for what we put ourselves through. And like if
Mm-hmm.
you I'm not saying that just because something has a trigger warning that you shouldn't consume it. Like if you that is a choice you make.
Yeah.
And you know your limits. And like I know people who have trauma who are like, I am fine with encountering this in media as long as I have a warning beforehand so I know about it.
But
And
I
I think,
also,
yeah.
sorry, I have a bucket of trauma, but I like those moments where things catch me off
Yeah,
guard.
you like to be
Like,
surprised by the twink ghost.
I already have too many things to design. Don't add to the pile. Don't add to the pile, damn it. Uh,
We need a twink ghost sticker. I
fine. Tell the
maybe
children about your phobia.
oh god, but that's the problem. I can't use the words because my phobia is really that bad. I can't
Will you
actually.
be triggered if I say words?
No, you can say it. I just don't want to describe it.
The phobia surrounds gagging, vomiting, I think mainly those two,
Yeah, and nausea. So like,
and nausea.
I I have a serious fear of getting physically sick, but I'm also terrified of anyone around me being sick, like seeing it in movies, hearing it, like anything. So
Yes.
this is really debilitating and it's stopping me from living a normal healthy life because I'm just like a complete ball of anxiety. If you want to make my life easier, I'm just going to throw this out here. There are warning groups on the internet, like and pages where you can submit warnings for movies, for instance, and that makes my
Oh!
life a lot easier. So yeah, but yeah, and I hate talking about it because for some reason I now instantly regret mentioning it because people like to send me like gifs or videos because they think it's funny. A
People are
Christmas gift.
trash. I
Yeah,
would.
and
What the fuck?
it really really fucks with my head. Like the thing is, like it's happening right now. Like if I talk about this, I start to play back every single scene I've seen in every single movie where this happens. And
Okay.
it's just so yeah, and I know it's actually a really common phobia. It's just that no one really talks about it because we're too terrified. It's really fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's awful.
Yeah,
I don't like
it
that
really
at
and
all.
it affects like I don't want to talk about it too much. Like, but now we're on it. I mean, I just throw it out there. This is also like it affects things like how I eat and what I eat and
Of
how
course.
I can't eat out. I can't eat something prepared by other people. I can't eat before go. Like I am very afraid. 90% of the time, it's really
No, that
it's
sounds.
fun.
I mean, I never thought it was fun, but like, yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah,
Uh.
but the good thing is I've always had it, so I know how to deal with it. Like really, I'm pretty functional. But
Mhm. Oh, I've had moments like this.
what are we
I've had
talking
moments like this.
about? Like mythological people going to therapists? I'm very confused. Is this
I'm
something
guessing.
else?
I think it's Lore Olympus.
Oh, okay. Because
I'm
I don't know
assuming this is
anything.
Lore Olympus.
I'm like, was that in the Iliad? Like, did she?
What version of the Odyssey you reading where they go to therapy? Okay, I was right. It's Lore Olympus. I was right. I'm
Okay,
like,
okay, okay.
this is Lore Olympus. Sorry. Like, hey, yo, what copy of the Odyssey you got where they go to therapy?
Like, hook me up with one of those. That's
Yeah, hook me up with
I
that
want to
version.
read. Please let me read the chapter where Oedipus meets Fraud.
Freud?
Freud, not fraud.
That was a
Fraud.
Freudian slip.
That was a Freudian slip. What the hell?
Okay.
I think it. I think we say fraud in Norwegian. I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay. I was like, that was a slip.
I don't know my own language.
Lore Olympus doesn't do a lot for me just because I am that pure. It's like, this isn't the mythology, man. Like, that's like, I'm that person. Like, I don't hate anyone that likes it, but I'm very much like, this isn't how it happens in the story, man. Like, it's too much of a distraction for me. Yes.
Yeah, no, but are you like that with? Is it like just historical stuff, or do you get like that with fanon?
Mm. Oh, the art is beautiful. Can't ignore the art is beautiful. So yes and no. There are some series that I am a real like. I have an encyclopedic knowledge of this, and you are wrong. And because I know you're wrong, I hate you.
Yeah,
And then there's other things that I'm like, life is short, whatever. Like, okay, so I know you're not a huge comic book person, but like I have that for a lot of like the MCU movies because they have a huge intertextuality problem
yeah,
where they'll say this is Civil War, but they won't have all the things that make it the graphic novel Civil War.
right.
Or like they'll say this movie is Age of Ultron, but they won't have any of the things that Age of Ultron had because that is the foundation of how you get there. And a lot of it is changes that are important that fans notice. Um, I just stopped being vocal about them because I got tired of mostly dumb white men saying that I'm wrong when I know I'm right. Because I'll just fight a motherfucker.
I mean, yeah,
Like, Age of Ultron actually really pissed me off because they. This is going to be complete gibberish to you, but bear with me.
okay.
Um,
I
they
just talked
have the.
about biker mice from Mars for 10 minutes. I think
This
we're
is
fine.
true. But they had the audacity to have an Ultron story with no Hank Pym. And that doesn't fly for me. I don't know how you're going to try to remove the Hank Pym from your Ultron because that's literally who created him. But okay, pop off, I guess. He did do a domestic violence in a comic book where he slapped his wife into the next panel. He did that.
He did that.
He did that. And a lot of people were mad about that,
I'm
rightfully
sure.
so.
Yeah.
Glad that fictional women have more rights than real women,
Yeah,
but
that,
you
I mean,
know,
that's nice.
that's real nice. But yeah, like there's plenty of times that it's like, oh my god, X-Men First Class, because you said you liked X-Men.
Yeah. But I
Uh,
haven't read the comics though. I've seen some cartoons and
mhm.
I've watched the movies.
So I had that during X-Men First Class because like everyone's like, oh my god, that's such a good movie. I literally got up in the theater like, when did this happen? Like I got upset because the way that they had unfolded the events, none of that is rooted in comics. None of that is. That is all elaborate fan fiction pulled from like 13 other sources. But like, no, this is not how it happened. Like, so yeah, I've come to relax in my old age. That's fair. I'm not going to judge you. Like, it's a good movie. I just don't. It was a different time for me. But,
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
especially when I was younger, oh man, I was like flipping tables over, like, this isn't what happened.
yeah, no, that's
Now,
fair.
now I'm kind of like, okay, this isn't what happened. It's not my favorite, but I'm not going to fight you over it.
But yeah, because I think that is one of those things as well. I mean, because we are talking somehow in between all of this about our old Fujin way. And one thing that I felt was very like very big back in the day was that
Mm
I feel because especially now people are like, if I try to lay this out in kind of like a timeline,
hmm. Mm
you
hmm.
talked about like the 2000 like the 2010s era, like
Mm
the
hmm.
Tumblr era. Let's call it the Tumblr era. I feel
Mm
like
hmm.
people were just like throwing headcanons left and right and everyone was really cool with it. It was like, "Oh, my headcanon is this and my headcanon is that." And people were
Mm
like
hmm.
throwing this and adding to each other's posts all the time. And
Mm
then
hmm.
now I feel like there's a lot more gatekeeping. It's like people are like um this is my headcanon and you are not allowed to disagree with me. But
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if you were going with that because I remember, especially like in our early years, we could have headcanons, but we had to be able to back that up. But I see where
yeah,
you're going.
but
You're right because, sorry,
no, yeah, no,
to
carry on.
me, the Tumblr era was the I'm just going to throw out a headcanon and it makes zero sense, and I'm not asking for anyone to comment on it. Now we have the this is my headcanon, it is entirely unsubstantiated, and you are wrong for questioning it. Um, because Tumblr did that a little bit, but like it was more of let me be on this weird boat by myself.
Yeah,
Now it's very yeah, you're right, where it's this is my headcanon, it is true, and if you disagree with me, you are wrong.
yeah.
Because, and I'm gonna sound really controversial here, I don't think the children know what fiction is anymore.
No, but you are absolutely right because they don't.
But here's why. I think that they have sublimated too much into the fiction. Because what I see a lot of is especially like trans headcanons,
Mm.
and those you definitely can't fight because they'll just say that you're transphobic. And I get the desire to do that. I get the desire to, if you are trans, to have characters that look and sound and act like you. But that is not the world and that is not a universal experience.
No, like if I as a cis person, like I can't even imagine because that would very easily like it's not like you can present to me a headcanon and be like I can read this character as trans and and you can give me arguments for it and I can definitely see it and I
Mm-hmm.
can definitely be on board with that reading.
Mm-hmm.
But if I mean it would very very quickly become something that could be seen as objectification on my
Mm-hmm.
part because I don't have the trans experience. That isn't my place. That isn't my reality. Uh, and it's very easy to take wrong steps. I feel like this is me personally though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I had a headcanon that a character was trans, I don't think it would sit right with me
Mm-hmm.
because I would be uncomfortable. I don't know. I can't really explain it. I would be uncomfortable with the idea that I was the one perpetuating that idea because I don't know what that is like because I haven't
Fair.
lived that experience. It's like I
Fair.
haven't lived the black experience. I don't know
It's
anything.
that's fair. Yeah. But yeah, like it's one of those things. So like, I hate those because I I think that they're interesting and I want to understand, but you can't ask them questions because they've projected too much of their own. I'm going to sound really controversial, but don't clip this out of context. Their own fragile relationship to their transition, that if you attack that headcanon, you're attacking them and their validity as a trans person, which I'm not a therapist and that's not for me to comment on, but sort of like, do you remember how we went crazy with like mental health headcanons back in the day?
Perhaps.
So it's like in that Tumblr area, everyone was autistic.
Yeah,
Every
yeah, probably.
character,
Yeah,
every character was autistic.
I wasn't really that much into fandom then because I was doing a whole bunch of exams and it was
Thank you
horrible.
for
Bye,
spending time with us. We'll
Lauren.
see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I also wasn't super into it. I was like outside looking in, but like, yeah, like in the 2000s where everyone was autistic, just every character was, oh, this character is autism coded, or it's like, okay, sure. A lot of that's projection, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, the writer's barely disguised fetish, like, but because of that, it got really, really hard to argue those points.
Yeah.
So then you got a lot of like Tumblr whores and like old fans like me who are like, well, then why do you feel that way? Because proof. And newer fans who were like, blah, 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 it's all this stuff and it's fine. It's like,
But yeah, because I think it's absolutely fair. Like, I am not here to piss on anyone's parade. Like, I think, do your thing. Like,
mm-hmm,
if you wanna read a character, or if you are reading a character in a particular way, and like if you wanna explore your own identity or your own issues, like I did that a lot. Like, speaking of mental illness, I was really struggling in my teens. I was really, really
mm-hmm,
depressed. Had a
mm-hmm,
lot of anxiety.
mm-hmm.
And I really like reading fanfic where Sasuke was going through depression because it was a way of. I mean, he's a really depressed emo boy. Come on, I love
I'm
him
not
for it.
laughing
Like,
at you, but like that would be mood and same.
yeah, but like,
Highly,
I mean,
highly relatable content.
like if you think about it now, if you think about how much representation we have in actual fiction now, like that isn't fanfic, that they are
Mm-hmm,
doing a lot of queer young adult and like young adult novels. Like, quick recommendation, the British young adult author Holly Bourne writes really, really well on mental illness, and I love her. But we didn't have that. So if someone wrote a character that had the struggles that you went through, and someone took a character you loved and they wrote them with those struggles, that was really nice because it really resonated with you. But it didn't necessarily resonate with anyone, and that is the difference. Like, you don't get to police how someone else reads that character, or if they can't relate to you because they don't come from the same experience. Because
mm-hmm.
maybe you don't have to disagree, because maybe they didn't write it in order to argue with you. They just wanted to express their side of the story, which is fair, but also don't force that into everyone else's throat and say I am right and you are wrong because I read this character this way. And I don't think we did that back in the day.
No, we didn't. But also, like, we were able to. So I think you guys saw a little bit of this when we talked about gravitation because it's been 2 hours and I haven't mentioned it yet.
Haven't we?
No,
Oh my god!
a record.
What is this?
Uh,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
we talked about, what illness does Yuki have? And we did
Yeah.
some speculation, but notice it was all rooted in DSM stuff. It wasn't because other kinned him to be this. It was, well, based on this symptom, and this symptom, and his reaction to this medication, I think it's this.
Yeah, and also how these are his traumas, these are things
Mm-hmm.
that he does. And also,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he himself saying that, and again, that is another speculation, because Yuki for the longest time believes that he is schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
But we also don't really know if that is, a bad translation. We don't know if it
Mm-hmm.
is Murakami not having a clue what she's actually making him say. Because, like, to be
Mm-hmm.
fair, Japan isn't great on mental health, and they probably were even worse in the 90s, so we don't actually know
Gonna go ahead and
anything.
confirm, yes. Gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and confirm that.
So there are all of these, you can speculate and you can kind of relate it to your own experiences, but
Mm-hmm.
it,
Or
it's
like
it's hard.
I had I had a pretty elaborate manifesto about Roy Mustang having bipolar and PTSD. And I had like pulled examples and everything because of course obviously he has PTSD. That's obvious. I also think he's manic depressive. And is that the author's barely disguised fetish? Yes. Am I also going to do a hecking amount of research to substantiate the author's barely disguised fetish? Also, yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to pull examples and everything, and it's like I think especially considering that time of that time where it's not World War II, World War II. Uh, oh my god, so actually that's something I love doing, but in context, I did that a lot with Klaus and Maiden Rose,
Yeah.
where his amphetamine use very clearly helps rationalize why he is the way he is. Because that man on amphetamines, he is canon on a lot of amphetamines. And that makes sense to why he's one, super intense, two, can rip the head off of a horse, and three,
That's where you get the undead Christmas horse, because because Klaus.
because Klaus von Wolfstadt just tearing through fields.
Oh my god.
And also his poor social skills,
Yeah.
his tremors, his headaches, and why he can't feel pain when he gets shot. That man's on drugs.
But it's like, as you're saying this, there's like a little reel playing in my head, making me realize how many of my favorite BL stories, like, that aren't fanfic, are actually dealing with some sort of mental health issue. Like,
Oh yeah,
almost
we've
all
been
of my
trying
favorites,
to
I'm like,
fix ourselves
what?
through fiction for
Yeah,
years.
and actually, I think this is very interesting because I have actually never thought about this. But again, like, I was struggling a lot as a teen. I also had, I don't like to talk too much about this because family issue. But someone in
Mm-hmm.
my really close family, was hospitalized for a mental health issue when I was
Mm-hmm.
really young, and it's one of those things that I think that I came out of it really well, but I didn't understand how much it impacted me
Mm-hmm.
when it happened because I was so young. I was like 10 or 11,
Right.
and I didn't really realize how much it had affected me, and I realize now that I think that helped pique my interest in
Mm-hmm.
stories about mentally ill family members in particular because I lived that. And I never
Mm-hmm.
really thought about that, but then I started thinking about, why do I love, stories like, I mean, 10 Count is a horrible example, but it does have, I think, but again, I also really relate to 10 Count because Shirotani is afraid of germs,
Mm-hmm.
and I have this thing. Uh, and like lots of my favorites, and just thinking about things like, again, I know you hate Loveless, but Ritska went to a therapist. Like, there are all of these things that I can string together in my own path of Fujin, like from Golden Cane to Loveless to
Mm-hmm.
Gravitation, obviously, and then onwards that had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of mental health uh, thematically. And I never really considered that, oh, look, this is a red thread. Having a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at myself now like, why does every fictional man I like have untreated trauma but chooses to fix it through sex and or violence?
I mean, as one does.
If I miss next month's live, which my little sis, look, I have a nephew due at the end of January. It probably won't be that at the end of January, but we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, we'll try.
Babies are babies are things.
I was a
I don't
really
know where I was
impatient
going with
baby.
that.
I was
Huh?
3 weeks early. I was a very impatient child.
I was also premature, so much so that my pigment had not set in fully. So I did not look African American upon birth, and many people at the hospital were convinced that the two very large black people were stealing a white baby.
Don't you love, casual racism? Yay, the 3 weeks early club.
Yay! But okay, it's been 2 hours. We talked about our old Fujin ways. This is the last live of 2021 because after basically Wednesday, I am unavailable.
Yeah, you're gonna be busy. I'm just gonna be lounging with snacks for the rest of the month.
Corolla is just gonna be hanging out with Sansa and the family. I
Yeah.
evaporate.
I'm gonna see all of my not all of my friends, but my friends who come home for the holidays. I'm gonna see them. That's
I
what I'm
do get
doing.
to see. I will have some fun. I do get. I will be off for Christmas. Like
Yeah.
I'm just. I happen to be working the week before Christmas at a convention that is going great.
I'm not sure I'm entirely convinced by that. Your
It's like
face is like
gun clearly held to back of
oh,
head.
saying to
Everything's
Toma
cool.
is
Yeah.
like
It's like gun casually held to back of head. The
oh my
convention's running
lord.
fine. There is nothing wrong in bossing say.
Actually, can I just say this? Because
Yes.
we will never escape gravitation. Do you not think that it is weird that in a story with so many guns, how did Toma not have a gun?
Do you want him to have a
No,
gun?
no, I'm just wondering why didn't he? Because like he seems like the type who absolutely would hold a gun to someone's head
I don't think.
permanently.
No. Do not give that man a gun. That sounds
No,
like the he should not have. That's why he has K. Like he that
yeah,
sounds like the worst idea. Like the sheer thought. It feels like those gifs of like toddlers who were like given like fake guns and they just like immediately start shooting people. Like please do not give Toma a gun.
that yeah. I'm sorry for this. No,
That
you don't.
sounds
There's
like that sounds no, dude, no, you don't. Like it genuinely, it feels like all those gifts of like toddlers being given like Nerf guns, and they just like immediately start shooting at everything. Please do not give him a gun. That sounds
that is actually a terrifying thought. I'm sorry. And
yeah.
then
Like the
yeah.
more I think about it, the less comfortable I am. Do not give that man a weapon. We
Oh
are
my
so
lord.
glad that he's short. He'd be unstoppable.
But
But
it yeah yeah.
thank you guys for being with us. We had a chaotic year.
Oh yeah.
And
And
I
I was only
don't
here for half of it. And
this is true. And I would be an idiot to not mention that. So for the fans that are new and for the fans that are old, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you just for everything. I'm genuinely humbled every single time I do stuff like this. And looking ahead to 2022, we have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Like,
so many cool things.
we have so many cool things coming up. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
No, no.
Corolla gets like tantalizing messages where it's just like, I made a friend.
And it's
And
so exciting!
so
I can't say anything.
Corolla gets all these like tantalizing messages where I'm just like, I made friends with someone.
And then
Uh
sometimes you just send me like a screenshot because I'm off Twitter, and then
yes.
there was that one thing, and I was like, my
Yes.
friggin' heart.
So we have some super
Yes.
cool stuff planned.
Please stay with us in the new year because it's worth it. Like,
Please stay with us in the new year. It is so worth it. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Happy holidays.
happy
Uh,
holidays.
stay safe. We really appreciate you. Oh my god, thank you guys so
Thank you
much.
so
I'm so
much.
grateful.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah. I just want to say, like, I'm super grateful. I've only been here half a year. I feel very welcomed.
you've always yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
learning as we go. I'm
you're doing
learning.
great. You're doing
But
great.
I'm just super grateful, and like I could do this all day. Like there are so many things I want to say. And also like I just feel like this is like a small disclaimer at the end because I get really fired up and I talk about things and I lose my train of thought, and I just want to say that if I said something and it sounds iffy to you, please hit me up because I can explain it. Because I'm just like, I have no control because I'm having a
That's
good
why we
time.
have the Discord so people
Yeah.
can go like, "Hey, that thing you said, what the fuck?" Oh,
Yeah, please do, because like a lot of the time we just and we get fired up and then we like refer to things that
yes,
actually didn't happen on the air. It was just like between us and there's like something that
this
people
is
might
true.
miss. And
This
I'm
is
like,
true.
please don't think that we are dismissing this thing or like saying
No,
something. Yeah.
absolutely not. It usually means that was a conversation we had hours before, and forgot that you guys can't see our private conversations.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, most of the time I'm glad are private because it's mostly just us being shady.
I don't understand. I have never been shady in my entire. What are you talking about? I am a very respectable human being.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you
I
so much.
I appreciate you. December patrons, y'all get your bonus video uh next week. Before I go to A Fest. And if you're at Anime Fest, I will be in the cosplay office, probably being held hostage. Please come rescue me.
You promised you'd take lunch.
I
If you
did
see
promise.
Amanda, make sure to ask, did you eat lunch? Like, take care of my co host, because I can't be there. Cause,
I'm gonna have like 5 people just like saunter up, like, "Did you eat?" It's
good,
like, yes.
good. Yeah.
All
But
right,
yeah,
guys. We'll
thank you
see you
so
in
much.
2022.
See you next year.
Bye.
Bye.